Alright, today we're going to trim this goat's hooves. Make sure that the feet are clean. So this here is just a horse hoof pick, and I'm gonna gently brush away all this caked on mud that gets on here when you have goats outside in the springtime in the Northeast. If you're trimming through a bunch of mud, then your clippers are gonna get dull, and then you have a greater chance of injuring either yourself or the goat with dull clippers. Especially in between the hooves, it can get stuck on there. Once you've got the hooves clean and you're ready to trim them, you need to get a pair of hoof trimmers. And you want to make sure they're sharp, and again, also make sure that they're super clean. Many farmers have accidentally stabbed either themselves with the hoof trimmers because they are so sharp, or the goat, and then they develop an infection, and it's just not a fun time. So to prevent that, you want to keep them clean, and you want to make sure you have control over the goat when you are clipping them. So you want to hold them in a way that's gentle but firm. You don't want them to be able to kick around all over the place. But you also don't want them to be holding their foot in an uncomfortable position, like super exaggerated like this, or like this, where you can't really see what you're doing and you've got their pasterns bent. Just want to hold it right like this for the front feet. And then you can start trimming. The important thing with trimming is you want to make sure that the hoof walls are flush with the sole. These clippers are getting a bit old, so they're not as sharp as they used to be. But they want to be flush with the sole like this, instead of, you see how the hoof wall right here is kind of sticking out. So I'm going to trim this back, and you want to use shallow cuts with these. It's like trimming your fingernails. If you were to take a pair of fingernail trimmers and stick them as far back as you possibly could in your fingernails, then it would hurt you and you might bleed, and it's the same thing with goats. So nice gentle cuts, and you want to prevent them from bleeding. You go work side to side, and you want to make sure that the hoof is level when it's standing on the ground. So I can show you what that looks like right here once I do a few more cuts. The color of the sole, once you've trimmed it, should be this like light pink, sort of right here. You are such a drama queen. But as you can see on this, thank you. As this section of hoof right here, when she puts weight on it, it'll be flat across the bottom. Instead of on like these back feet here, you can see that they're starting to get twisted and put more weight to the side. The other thing you want to keep in mind, especially if you've got a show animal, particularly in showmanship, at those higher levels of senior classes, is the judges will actually take notice of the dew claws. And it's usually more obvious on the back, but these front dew claws can start to go too long. Hers aren't too bad right now, but if you saw that they were getting too long or starting to break off in a place, you can just snip those gently and they should be good as new. She doesn't really have any places to cut. Now we're ready to do the back feet. So once again, I can make sure these are clean. Just wash these feet, which is why they're wet, because they're a bit more dirty than the front ones. So get all that stuff out from the middle, and then you're ready to go. as you can see, I'm holding her so that she can't really move her leg. They're usually a lot more happy to kick with their back legs than their front legs. She's still behaving relatively well for her first freshener, however. Now once again, with the back feet, you want to make sure that that hoof wall is nice and flush with the sole. A bit of a stick there. And you can see these heels grow out a little bit from beyond this sole, so you want to trim those back, but not too tight. And here's this right here, this growth is what is causing her legs to twist. So you want to cut that, get it nice and level. She has got a bit of bruising here from a previous time when she may have been cut too close, but she's a bit jumpy. She's been on the stand a while, I can imagine. She must be bored. So I'll hurry along here. You don't want to waste too much of their patience, but yeah, you can cut through the bruises. You know, be a little gentle with them, and just easy, shallow cuts along the wall. You don't want to take it off all in one day. I hope it's looking